In our science workbooks, we are on page 106 and 107. We have one more life cycle that we're going to go through, and that is insects. Ladybugs crawl up a brick wall. Grasshoppers hop along the ground. What changes did these insects go through after they hatched from eggs? So our active reading, what we're going to be doing while we read today is, as you read this page, circle a signal word that tells when something happens. Are we ready? 106, 107. There's one signal word in this, just skimming through it. I think I see one signal word that tells us when something happens. And we are just circling it. All right, most insects undergo metamorphosis. Do you remember talking about that yesterday?
Yeah.
How they completely change from one step of their life cycle to the next step. As they develop into adults, ladybugs, like butterflies, go through complete metamorphosis. This means that they go through 2 stages of development between the egg and the adult. In both of these stages, the insect looks very different from the adult. Some insects, such as grasshoppers and dragonflies, go through incomplete metamorphosis. After hatching, these insects look very much like adult insects. They also go through changes as they grow, but the way they look does not change much. Do you see the caption by the grasshopper here?
Yeah.
It says, as part of its life cycle, the adult grasshopper grows bigger and gains wings. Did you catch on to what that signal word was?
I have 2 guesses.
What's one?
After.
That is it. Okay, so let's look at the ladybug, and then we'll look at the grasshopper. So obviously, insects begin as what? Eggs. So let's look at the ladybug eggs up here. Now, when it's a ladybug, it doesn't look like an egg, does it? No. So an adult ladybug lays her eggs on a leaf. The egg is the first stage in complete metamorphosis. What's the next stage?
Lady larva.
Ladybug larva. In the second stage, a ladybug larva hatches from each egg. The larva looks different from the adult. Does that even look anything like a ladybug? Like how we think of ladybugs?
I've seen them before and I thought they were like crazy weird bugs, but now that I know that, I'm
Now you know that it was ladybug larva.
It looks like a bee kind of.
It has its 6 legs though, doesn't it? Like insects do. Let's move over to ladybug. That word is pupa.
pupa.
What's the word?
Pupa.
The larva becomes a pupa. During this 3rd stage, the insect does not move as it slowly changes into an adult. You can kind of start seeing some spots, and it's kind of starting to get that rounded shell on it.
And it,
I see a little bit of resemblance, but still not how I picture a ladybug to look.
it's like a caterpillar where it kind of changes.
Complete metamorphosis, right? Let's look at the last stage. That's by far my most favorite stage of the ladybug life cycle. The adult ladybug. An adult ladybug emerges. What does that mean? Like comes through. Now we see it. The adult stage is the last of the 4 stages of complete metamorphosis. Friends, why does it have this line going across there? Why are they showing that? Lucas?
Because it repeats.
What repeats?
It's life.
Yes, the life cycle then repeats and it goes back to eggs and then to larva and then to pupa and then to the adult. And then it starts all over again.
Except, like,
With different bugs though, right?
yeah, it doesn't turn into a big egg again.
No, it doesn't do that.
It looks the same as
Okay, let's take a look at the grasshopper. Look at their eggs. A grasshopper lays her eggs in the soil. What is soil? What's another word for that?
dirt.
Dirt. The egg is the first stage of incomplete metamorphosis. Remember the ladybug was complete metamorphosis? And they said this one is incomplete. Do you remember what the in prefix means?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
Not or
Not or in. Yep. So in this case, it's not complete. So it goes from the eggs to a grasshopper nymph. Young grasshoppers called nymphs, say nymph, hatch from the eggs. This is the nymph right here. Does it look like a grasshopper? Yeah, that's why it is incomplete metamorphosis. A nymph looks like an adult grasshopper, but it doesn't have any wings. Okay, so when it's a nymph, it has no wings. So when you see a grasshopper around here with no wings, it's a nymph. When you see a grasshopper with wings, it would be an adult grasshopper. All right, let's look at the grasshopper nymph. They're telling us more over here. As a nymph grows, it sheds its outer body covering several times. What does that mean?
Like it sheds its.
If it sheds it, what does it do?
It's like
It, like,
taking
Does
off.
it get rid of it?
Yeah.
Does it fall off of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Each time, its wings become larger and more fully formed. I did not know that. Then it becomes an adult grasshopper. The last shedding, so the last time that it sheds its outer body covering, it produces an adult grasshopper, which means it's going to have what?
Wings.
Right. This is the third and last stage of incomplete metamorphosis. So it's going to have those fully developed wings so that it is able to fly. Once it's an adult grasshopper, will it mate with another grasshopper?
Yes.
And what's going to happen?
The eggs are gonna be.
We're going to go back to eggs. And then what stage does a grasshopper go into?
Nymph.
The grasshopper nymph. And then what does it become?
An adult.
An adult grasshopper. And then it starts all over again.
And again.
Okay, look at the do the math part. A young grasshopper nymph, isn't that on your book?
Yeah.
Okay. A young grasshopper nymph can be 20 millimeters long. It wants us to draw a nymph that is 20 millimeters long. Do you know how to measure millimeters on a ruler?
No.
Okay, we'll have to do that. Then it says an adult grasshopper can be 45 millimeters long. Draw a grasshopper that is 45 millimeters long. Okay, so are you guys familiar with centimeters?
Yes.
Millimeters are smaller.
What?
Because centimeters are pretty small, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whoops, that was stuck in there. I'm glad I didn't break that. All right, this side is inches. This side is centimeters. So this is 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters. What do you think all these little tiny marks are?
Millimeters.
Those are the millimeters. So for every centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. So if I have 1 centimeter, how many millimeters do I have? 10. If I have 2 centimeters, how many millimeters are there?
10.
20. If I have 3 centimeters, how many millimeters?
30.
Okay, so a young grasshopper nymph can be 20 millimeters. Friends, that is that long. Where my finger is pointing to right there. That is 20 millimeters long. Is that big?
No.
Or is that pretty small?
That's
Have you ever seen a grasshopper that's small like that before?
Yes.
I have
Yes.
too. I didn't realize that it was a grasshopper what?
Nymph.
Nymph. And it's a nymph because what does it not have?
Wings.
It does not have wings. I'm not going to make you draw it. You can, but it's only going to be about this big.
Okay, this big?
About this big. A little smaller. Probably about like that, Amy.
Is it like this?
Is it this big?
You're going to be going from the top of this meter stick to the 2.
Can we draw
That's too small.
45?
The one on the left is 20,
Okay.
which is what we're doing first.
45 millimeters
Mine's
will be
so
easy.
tiny. So tiny.
That's too little. This, go from the top down to the 2, that's 20.
This looks nothing like a grasshopper.
Oops, did I knock something off?
Yeah.
It's too small.
What about this one?
So it's going to be about that long.
This one? I do not know how to draw grasshoppers.
Me either.
No. Mine probably looks more horrible. Mine looks like frog.
It's going to go to about there.
Want to see mine?
Is mine?
You got it, Aim?
Mine looks like half frog, half caterpillar.
Oh.
So to about there.
Half frog, half.
Okay. An adult grasshopper can be about 45 millimeters. So here I have 10, 20, 30, 40. Where's 45?
In the middle.
Halfway between that.
Which isn't there
So,
a bigger one? Like
this is about 45
This big?
millimeters. I'll come around and you can draw just an estimate, a line to give you an idea of what 45 millimeters is.
I kind of guessed.
This one too.
This one
This
looks
is
more like
long.
a bug.
Just right.
This one looks like really weird.
Let me see it. Wanna see mine? Mine looks like dogs.
Mine looks like.
Really?
Do you wanna see mine again? It doesn't look the same. It doesn't.
Yes,
Oh yeah, that.
sure.
That dog is.
Okay, so go ahead and draw your adult grasshopper really quick in there.
It looks like a slug.
Mine